Welcome back to Dry Hollow Homestead. This is Danielle, and we are in the kitchen again making some beautiful buttermilk biscuits. This is actually from the butter and the buttermilk that I made with you on my channel. So I will link the butter video here, and also that buttermilk that we did, that cultured buttermilk we did, I'm going to link that here. So that's what you see there, the white, that is the buttermilk. I'm actually shredding the butter that was in my freezer. When we made it, I stuck it in the freezer for when I needed it, and I need it today to make buttermilk biscuits. I'm shredding it while it is still frozen, right on the parchment paper that I had put it in the freezer in. So I'm shredding about a cup of butter. There is no need to be perfect on this. You want to do it while it's frozen because it shreds better, and then you want to keep it cold, like put it back in the freezer so that it doesn't melt in your bowl while you're mixing all this, and not when you're cutting your biscuits. You want that to melt in the oven so you have those big flaky parts of your biscuits. So that's a key part. So I'm folding this back up and I'm going to stick it in my freezer until we're ready to use it. And then in my bowl there, my glass bowl, I already have 5 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 tablespoons of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of salt. And right there I'm adding honey. This is honey from Arby's. And I'm probably about, 2 tablespoons of honey. I'm not really measuring. I'm just kind of dipping it out. And I'm going to stir that up. That's all that's in there now. Give it a good stir. I love the spatula. It's one of my favorite things. And I got my butter back out. This is before my coffee has been drank all the way. It's there in the corner. That's why you don't see my face. You're not hearing my voice either. It hasn't came yet. So I'm actually stirring this in. So like I said, you don't want to melt that butter now. And I take that parchment paper. There's still a little bit of butter on there whenever I'm finished with this. Take that parchment paper and I actually rub that on the inside of my cast irons. So I don't use nonstick products in my kitchen whatsoever. All my pans are cast iron. A wholehearted believer in old traditional things are a lot better. Pans, they work good. So I actually use a whole quart of that cultured buttermilk that we made together in this biscuit recipe. And it's not really anybody's recipe. I'm just kind of winging it a little bit, but I did write it down so I can remake it. Good for me, huh? Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't. You never know what you get sometimes. It's random things. So you're stirring it. You want to just kind of incorporate it there. And I'm going to eventually get this onto my counter, and definitely want to put lots of flour down first. And I'm very generous with the amount of flour because you don't want this to be dry by doing too much flour, but I could just tell it was still, I had put quite a bit of buttermilk, but that actually smells delicious. And you don't want to work it like you're not kneading it. You're not trying to make bread dough right here. You are just trying to incorporate it together. Yep. So don't use your hands a whole lot. So I'm just kind of folding it in just to get all the pieces together here. And then I'm going to cut my biscuits using lots of flour. Don't want it to stick anywhere. I don't have a biscuit cutter. I don't know if I've ever had a biscuit cutter. So I use pint jars, mason jars in my kitchen all the time. That's actually what we use for drinking cups. For adult drinking cups, we have stainless steel for the kids, and I use it for measuring liquids mostly too. So that's what I'm actually going to use as my biscuit cutter. And this ended up making 2 large cast irons, actually 3 large cast irons. No, 2. Sorry. We also made sausage gravy. So this made my Lodge, I think, 12-inch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. My 12-inch Lodge and my Le Creuset 12-inch. And then one smaller, it was a 10-inch Le Creuset cast iron that we filled up with these biscuits. So, yep, there's my pint jar that I'm using. And like I said, I have greased my pan with that butter parchment paper and not wasting any drops of that homemade butter. putting them in there. I remember my grandma Bessie doing this all the time. She would do very simple, like self-rising flour with, I think, maybe just milk. I'm not even sure. It's been so many years and she's since passed away. But I remember her folding it all out and cutting it, and I believe she used a mason jar too. Or maybe even cans, like from corn or something, that she just cut the top off of and reused. But it makes me think of that when I see it. You can see the pieces of butter still in that. It's not incorporated all the way, which is awesome. That's what you want. And I use my cast irons to make everything. Like I said, I don't have any non-stick in my kitchen whatsoever. So that you see on the corners there on the inside of my cast iron, I have made pizza. I had made pizza, I guess, like the day before. And I do a method with my sourdough where I put my cast irons in the oven, piping hot, as hot as your oven can handle. There's my Le Creuset 10-inch. And I put my pans in the oven as hot as it can go for about an hour. So my cast iron is very, very hot. Pull it out and pour my sourdough starter, just my sourdough, not mixed up into dough at all, just my sourdough, into the pan and rub it around and put it back in the oven and makes a crust. I didn't come up with that. Farmhouse on Boone. I get a lot of her sourdough recipes. She doesn't really do like a lot of butter or buttermilk or anything, but she does great sourdough recipes that I use them all the time in my kitchen. I'm so thankful for that resource. So I'm getting them in the oven. There they are. And sausage is going there. More biscuits. I actually did them a little too long. I think I did it at 425 until I smelled them. I'm actually going to make gravy with you now if you're interested in sticking around. Sausage. We did patties first. I think we thawed out. We do 2-pound bags because we have a large family. In the background, I have my 7-year-old is trying to get his tooth out. He has a very loose tooth that is holding on by a thread. So he wanted to do that trick where you tie it to the doorknob and then you slam it. So you get to watch that in the background. Entertainment and a recipe. There's my 4-year-old. So I just sprinkled some flour in with this ground sausage. We butchered this ourselves back in January, and this the best sausage. I don't know, maybe half a cup, and then I poured in some milk from our cow, raw milk, and we'll see. I think I add more milk in a little bit. I don't measure. You just kind of watch it. And we had already made 1 pound into sausage patties for breakfast, and now we are also making the rest into gravy. So we'll see if this works. Look in the background. He's going to slam the door. Oh, it didn't work. No go. So he's going to try that again. So this works great in my cast iron too. Like I said, I really think everyone should have cast iron and learn to cook like your grandmother or your great-grandmother did. And that's what they usually used. These are actually the blue pans. Both of them are Le Creuset, and they are beautiful. They're no different in cast iron than my Lodge, but I really do love them. They're beautiful, and I'm hoping that they will last long enough that I can hand them down to my kids when I'm dead and gone. Here we go. It's gonna be another slam of the door, and it came out. Yay! Nehemiah is 1 tooth less. There you go. Don't get that near the food. That's gross. Okay, so it thickened up. You can see it thickened up pretty good. We were actually out of pepper. So I put salt, but I did not put any pepper in it. Really kind of should have had pepper. I could have put red pepper flakes, but I have to be careful with the children. They don't like a lot of spice, but salt was definitely needed. And he's bleeding. Stay back from the food. That's gross. Hi. That was more children. Lots of children. That's the way I like it, though. Who would I cook for if we didn't have kids? This would be a pretty boring life of mine. I'd probably back to work. This is so much better than that. So Gravy's looking very good. Thickened up well. I think I maybe even add some more milk. Do I? Nope. Okay, I'm using my stainless steel to scoop it out. So I'm breaking up my biscuits, buttermilk, homemade buttermilk biscuits with homemade butter and sausage gravy. And there you go. Beautiful. Try to make some. I'll put the recipe in the description box below. And come back again. See us here at the homestead anytime you like. God bless, and we'll see you later.